everyone, and welcome back to another video of my YouTube channel and blog. Today I am working on this digi image from Koala T Crafts. This is one that Jen Evers illustrates, and I colored him with my Prismacolor pencils, and it was such a nice day outside, and my puppy dog wanted to go outside, so I decided to take my coloring outside, so I did not film it. But here you'll see me using my blending stumps and Gamsol, and I'm just going in and blending all those colors together that I used and smoothing everything out. And I think it gives him a little bit more of a character look because you know he is a character. And when I first saw the image with those big bulging eyes, he just looked surprised to me, so I decided to make a birthday card. So that's what I'm doing with him. And I'm just, like I said, just going over all this with my blending stumps. You'll see me change blending stumps is because I do have a sander to sand off the color, but I've got several, so I just kind of have browns and reds and blues and stuff, and so I just kind of change them out to whatever color I'm using. So this is a stencil from MFT. It is their slopes stencil, and so I'm going to use some gathered twigs, just regular distress ink, to create a little ground for the little puppy dog to stand on. And so I'm just blending this in, and I'm just blending this on regular Neenah 80-pound cardstock. The puppy dog himself was also colored on Neenah 80-pound cardstock, and I used my brother's scan and cut to cut him out. Next, I'm going to take this stencil from Simon Says Stamp. I think it's just called Pause Background. I'll have everything linked in the video description below and over on my blog. And I'm using some ground espresso and just kind of pouncing it in there and making sure I'm getting all the little pads on the little paw prints covered really good. And over on my blog, I will have all the colors that I used, Prismacolor pencils that I used to color the puppy dog. So now I'm just going to remove this and just clean it off with a baby wipe. It cleans off very easily with a baby wipe. And then I'm going to take this stencil and I'm just going to trace it on a piece of paper and just hand cut this out so I can cover the ground and use some more distress ink to make a sky. And I'm just going to tape this in place with, I'm just using some Post-it note tape. And I'm going to use Tumbled glass distress ink just to sponge on a little bit of sky, you know, from the ground up, just to give the kind of the illusion of sky. In hindsight, I probably would have got out my cloud stencil from MFT and done some clouds in the sky just to give the background in the sky a little bit more interest. After I finished with the card, I thought the sky was a little plain, so in hindsight I wish I would have taken out my cloud stencil and added a little bit more interest to the sky. But it does give it a hint of blue and a hint of sky. So I'm just cleaning up my craft mat there again with the baby wipe, and we'll move on to stamping the sentiment on the outside. I'm using this stamp set by Stamping Bella. It's called Nacho, and the little dog in this stamp set has the same kind of big eyes as this one that Jen drew does, and it has a great sentiment that says, "Say what?" And I just thought this little guy just looked surprised, like he was going, "Say what?" And so I thought that went real well with a birthday sentiment on the inside. I'm just using a little bit of Simon Says Intense Black ink, and I'm just got the dog there for positioning, and I put me a piece of clear plastic. This is just something that I cut out of some packaging, just so I can double check the placement of my sentiment, you know, on the card. And then I inked it up again. I wanted to make it nice and crisp black. So I did also, and because that had the foam on it, I had to take out the foam piece out of my Misty to use that stamp. So now I'm going to move on to the inside of the card. I'm not going to show you all the stamping of this because I didn't realize I was out of frame. So just left in this part where I'm kind of showing the stamp set, and it's by Honeybee Stamps, and it's called Celebration Sentiments. And this is one of their great builder stamp sets, so you can make all sorts of stuff with this stamp set. But so I took out the ... that it has in there, and it has a it's and a your and a birthday. So that's what I made for the inside of the card. So now I'm just using my Scotch ATG gun, and I will mount my front panel onto my card base, which is Neenah 110 pound solar white. And I'm going to use some Scotch 3M foam tape to pop up my puppy dog on the outside of my card. And I fiddled with cutting lots of little pieces because this is probably going to go through the mail, so I wanted to make sure that everything was supported really good. So even that little bitty tiny tip of the tail, I cut a little bitty piece and fiddled with it a bit and got it on there. So my pup is nice and supported. So my card wasn't laying flat, so I just took my Teflon bone folder and went over the fold. And it took me a long time to decide to buy one of these because they're not exactly cheap. But I must say I am happy that I did, because you don't get that shiny spot on your card from like you do with a bone folder that's not Teflon. These are Nuvo drops in Copper Penny, and I put a little bit of the Nuvo glitter pen over the little heart, and I did coat it with some Nuvo Morning Dew, which dries clear. And then I took a Jelly Roll pen and just put some highlight spots on the puppy dog, and I added more of that Nuvo glitter pen to the paw prints, and it gave them a really nice sparkle. You can see that there. So that is my card for today. There's the inside. Thank you for joining me, and we'll have another card again soon. Thanks. Bye.